Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker, and we are going to be having a look at a Kershaw tool here today. Now, before we have a look at this Kershaw tool, please don't forget to, if you think that I've earned it, don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe to this video. I'd appreciate it very, very much. Also, there's a little bit of a thanks button down there if you want to help out the channel there and help us going monetarily to, because some of this stuff costs a little bit of money. I would appreciate it very, very much, but you know what? There's no need to do that. I would just appreciate your thumbs up, your subscription, as well as your comments, because I love hearing from you guys. All right, so let's have a look at this. So this here is the the Kershaw TX tool. And it's basically a 4mm bit driver, 4.8 inches long, 1.1 ounces as far as weight is concerned. So it is a lightweight tool. It looks like it's made of kind of an aluminum composite or so. It doesn't seem very heavy at all. And it does come with 5 bits. Now, these are the bits that are going to be the ones that you mostly use in the knife world. And we'll have a look at those here. And then we'll kind of go over it, and I'll tell you kind of what I think of this tool and whether or not I think you should buy it. Now, it's going to come with a, before I continue to drop this down, it's going to come with some Torx bits as well as a number 2 Phillips and a flat or slotted style bit. So now the 3 Torx bits are a number 6, a number 8, and a number 10, and those are going to be most of the bits that you're going to be using in Knifeland. As far as you may occasionally use a Phillips bit too as well, and a slotted, especially if you've got a hinder, you're going to use a slotted all the time. Now this can also be used as a little bit of a pry too as well with the slotted bit, but the main ones you're going to use are going to probably be the 8 and the 6 or the 8 and the 10, because that seems to be most of the Torx screws that are in our Knifeland. Now, it is made of aluminum. It's got a clip, and it is got a magnetic snap in there too as well when you're putting your bit inside. So, it does have fairly decent grip without being too darn strong. Now, I know there's some magnetic, or not magnetic, there's some slots in there that really give you a hard time trying to get the bit out. This one's got no problems as far as the bits in and out. It's really quite easy. The one thing though I do notice about this knife is there's a tiny bit of slop here when you're inserting the bit and you've got a little bit of a turn. That's kind of one of my knocks on it too as well. Now, everybody seems to really think, and I agree with it, that Weehaw makes really excellent bits. And I ended up taking, say, something like this. This is my ZT 0450 carbon fiber, Zinkovich designed. Excellent little knife, and I'm going to be reviewing this here relatively soon. And I'm loving it so far. Anyways, let's have a look here. So one of the things that did kind of bother me a little bit, and I often wondered, is this really that big a deal where you've got, some really definite high-end screwdrivers? And so this is a 6mm screwdriver, or 6mm Torx bit. And you can see that when you turn, there is a little bit of slop in there. So I was like, that's a little bit interesting. So if I use the Weehaw bit, is there going to be the same type of slop? And there's not. There is zero slop in here whatsoever. Like if there is some, it is incredibly ever so slight. See, this one here fits in there. There is zero slop in there whatsoever. So now where that's going to save you is sometimes you're going to have, some of the manufacturers will put a thread locking sealant in there, and if you're turning this a little bit too much, you could end up stripping out your screw, especially if you've got a little bit of slop in there. If the bit is not fitting inside the screw head really tightly, the chance of stripping out are quite a bit greater. Now let's have a look at the pivot too as well. So the T8 itself. Okay, you can see here. Let's just see. You can see that there's a little bit of movement there. Now let's do the T8 and the Weehaw on this pivot. Nothing. There is no movement there whatsoever. It's like it's locked right in. So that is really important to me. Now, I know sometimes you get what you pay for, and one of the rules of tools is usually what you want to do is you want to get the least expensive tool that does the best job for you. If you've got if budget is an issue, that's something you want to look at. If you've got no budget concerns whatsoever, most of the times you get what you pay for. So having that kind of upper middle of the road tool is going to definitely kind of be a better tool than the bottom end, lower end tools. But there are things out there that will do the job. So this here, if I threw this in my bag and I happen to have something like, a heavy duty knife like this, and I wanted to adjust the pivot, I don't think that there would be an issue with this T10 adjusting the pivot. But unless she was really welded shut with some red thread locker, then I might not want to take the chance on having something with a little bit of slop into it. See, there's even a little bit more slop in this one than there is in the ZT. So wrong one. So yet I look at this Weehaw and I put it in the exact same screw here. Wrong one, sorry. And there's tiny bit of slop. So, but nothing like this Kershaw. So let's put that aside. So one of the other knocks that I have on this too as well is it's not a quiet tool. So when you have all your bits out inside of it, and let's just say you're going to use one, right? Here, let's do that. And we'll put one in there. And you close it up because that's what you want to do here. Oh, sorry about that. Damn thing. And then all of a sudden, it makes some noise. I don't really like that. I suppose you could, carry them outside of the thing, set them down and then use it that way. And then it's quiet that way, but it just seems, in order to get away from this shaking, rattling noise, you got to keep all your bits outside. The chances are they could get a little bit lost too as well. Now, I ended up paying in Canada here at House of Knives. This was $14.99. Regular price for House of Knives was $21. Although I did find this at other manufacturers for a little, or other retailers for a little bit more. Nothing less in Canada though. Walmart was $24. Amazon was $21 for this. If you're looking in the US, Blade HQ is $9.99. Knife Center is $13.99, and Walmart is $14.11 in Walmart.com. So, for $9.99 in the US, or even the $14.99, I think it's certainly a tool that's kind of worth that kind of money. But when you start talking over $20, $24, $25, I think it prices itself out of what it's kind of worth for me. Now, you do have some knurling down here. It does give you a little bit of grip, but it's nowhere near some of the knurling that I felt in other tools. The other thing that really bothered me too as well is if you have a look here during the manufacturing process, it looks like it has cut along here. So now that's because you're just dealing with smaller screws in here. A little bit of torque isn't going to maybe perhaps tear that at all. But it just goes to think that this knife here, or this screwdriver, I think should have been probably quality controlled out and not, sold to the public. I just don't really like that. Now, of course, it is. Here, let's just see here. It is made in China, of course. So I think that's why they've been able to sell it so inexpensively, even though Kershaw is a brand that prides itself on making things in the U.S. If you're going to be dealing with probably, $20 or $30 knives, and you're not too worried about it, I think this Kershaw tool is absolutely excellent and no issues with it whatsoever. But if you're going to be talking about things that are, $600, $700, $800 custom knives, with a little bit of slop that's in here, if you want to do a little minor adjustment, I think it's okay. But if there's any chance that you could, pop your because you not only can strip out a screw, because it's got a little bit of slop to it, it could jump out of the screw and scratch something too as well. I think you're better off looking at something that's more kind of a Weehaw than you are looking at the Kershaw if you're going to be dealing with things that are really expensive. Now, Yeah, so the other really interesting thing that I thought was along with this, just a little bit on a side note, is when I opened up the box and looked inside it, I thought there was going to be like just a little bit of a, a breakdown on this tool, but there wasn't. This is actually a Kershaw manual on Kershaw knives. It's got, a little bit of a glossary here too as well. Blade stop, thumb stop, flipper, lock, pocket clip, butt end. It goes through it. It tells you how to open your manual folders with Kershaw, especially if you got a flipper or a thumb stud. It tells you how to open the Kershaw Speed Safe folder with a thumb stud or with a flipper. It talks about how to close Kershaw folders, and it also talks about their locks: frame lock, subframe lock, liner lock, inset liner lock, push button lock. And then it also does a really nice job talking about just, the hawk locks, mid lock, push button locked. I just think it's a really, really excellent little guide to the Kershaw knives. Now, the only thing that I had wished it kind of was on here was, oh, here we go. They're on the other side. So now it talks about how to put it inside your pocket, the care and maintenance, adjusting the screws, and how to sharpen it. So even if you don't, there's not really too much to how to use this. So when you do get this tool, especially if you're new to knives, this is an excellent little guide to not just Kershaw knives, but this to all pocket knives, because the information on here is actually quite excellent and well worth the read, especially if you're new to knives. Now, would I recommend this little tool? Like I said, I think if you're on a budget, I think it's okay. I think it's okay to maybe perhaps throw in a bag to adjust your working knife. But if you are going to be working on high-end knives, or just knives in your office, or your little bit of a workshop to do that, I think I would pass on this. The other thing is, I think if you're looking at the bottom end of the spectrum, in the States, the $9-10, I think you're okay with that. And in Canada, I think $13.99 is an extra. $14.99 is a good price for it. But when you start getting over $20, I think that I would pass. I think there are other systems out there for $20 that you can get that's just a little bit better than this. So that's my 2 cents. I hope you found that it was interesting, and I hope you found that this would help you out and make a decision to buy this tool. Now, if you like what I said, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this, as well as give me the little bit of a thanks button there. And also, please stay safe out there. Keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.